Hey y'all, thanks for clicking on the video today. We will be talking about triggers actually, and I know that's a little bit different from my normal content, but I think it's something that really needs to be talked about. I know that I personally have a lot of triggers, and without going to therapy, I really probably never would have learned anything about them and would have been able to work on them and get control of my emotions, which was a huge benefit to my life. Like I did not realize how I just reacted off of my emotions so much. And I yes, I am a Scorpio, so I am a water sign, definitely emotionally driven, but it was driving me insane. So, learning all about these trigger things and realizing when I am being triggered and that kind of thing has just helped so much. So hopefully this video will help you too. Um, well, we'll just get into it. Let's see. A trigger in psychology is a stimulus such as a smell, sound, or sight that triggers feelings of trauma. People typically use this term when describing post-traumatic stress. A trigger is a reminder of a past trauma. This reminder can cause a person to feel overwhelming sadness, anxiety, or panic. It may also cause someone to have flashbacks. A flashback is a vivid, often negative memory that may appear without warning. It can cause someone to lose track of their surroundings and relive a traumatic event. Triggers can take many forms. They may be a physical location or the anniversary of a traumatic event. A person could also be triggered by internal processes such as stress. Sometimes triggers are predictable. For instance, a veteran may have flashbacks while watching a violent movie. In other cases, triggers are less intuitive. A person who smelled incense during a sexual assault may have a panic attack when they smell the same incense in a store. Some people use trigger in the context of other mental or other mental health concerns such as substance abuse or anxiety. In these cases, a trigger can be a cue that prompts an increase in symptoms. For example, a person recovering from anxiety may be triggered by photos of very thin celebrities. When the person sees the photos, they may feel the urge to starve themselves again. How are triggers formed? The exact brain functioning behind triggers is not fully understood. However, there are several theories about how triggers work. When a person is in a threatening situation, they may engage in fight or flight response. The body goes on high alert, prioritizing excuse me. Excuse me. Prioritizing all its resources to react to the situation. Functions that aren't necessary for survival, such as digestion, are put on hold. One of the functions neglected during a fight or flight situation is short term memory formation. In some cases, a person's brain may misfile the traumatic event in its memory state or memory storage. Rather than being stored as a past event, the situation is labeled as a still present threat. When a person is reminded of the trauma, the body acts as if the event is happening, returning to fight or flight mode. Another theory is that triggers are powerful because they often involve the senses. Sensory information, sights, sounds, and especially smells, play a large part in memory. The more sensory information is stored, the easier a memory is to recall. During a traumatic event, the brain often ingrains sensory stimuli into memory. Even when a person encounters the same stimuli in another context, they associate the triggers with the trauma. In some cases, a sensory trigger can cause an emotional reaction for a person before a person realizes why they are upset. Habit formation also plays a strong role in triggering. People tend to do the same things in the same way. Following the same pattern saves the brain from having to make decisions. For example, say a person always smokes while they are driving. When a person gets in the car, their brain expects them to follow the same routine and light a cigarette. Thus, driving can trigger the urge to smoke, even if the person wishes to quit smoking. Someone can be triggered even if they don't make a conscious connection between their behavior and their surroundings. What are trigger warnings? A trigger warning is a notice of potential triggers in future discussion or content. The aim is to let people with mental health concerns avoid or prepare themselves for triggers. It is impossible to predict or avoid all triggers, since many are unique to the person's situation. Warnings are often reserved for common triggers such as images of violence. Recently, many students have requested trigger warnings in school. There has been much public debate over whether this practice is appropriate for classrooms, which is interesting because, trigger warnings are cool and all, but sometimes the trigger warning can cause a trigger. So, who knows how all that'll work. Everybody's going to have their own opinion on that. So, anyways, if you have your own triggers and you're working on dealing with them, or if you just learned what one is from this video, hit that comment section and let me know all about it. Hit the like button and the subscribe button. I appreciate all the love, and have a good day, y'all.